Hello and welcome everybody to the Leona, Diana, Nightfall, Daybreak deck guide. This is a deck I've been doing all my climbing this season with, all the way from Platinum 4 at the start of the season up to Masters, being third to Master, and then climbing my way up yesterday on yesterday's stream to 203 MMR, which at the time of the recording is number 3 in Europe. And I've been doing so with an overall win rate of well above 80%. Let's head into the deck builder and see what it's all about. The deck itself is very much a mid-range deck. It has a bit of an awkward curve. Most aggressive or mid-range decks usually have a very aggressive start and a very good mid game. But this deck has a very aggressive start, a very bad mid game, but then it goes back and have a very good late game as well on turn like 8 and 9. It is when we usually get some additional power plays. We struggle very hard with this deck on turn 5 to 7, so at that point we're just trying to survive. Unless we're playing against a control deck, of course, then we're trying to bring the pressure all of the time. But in a tempo matchup, we're gonna lose the board by turn 5 to 7 most of the times, and then we try to sneak in some finishers with some big Celestials. We're running the Allegiance Targon package, only splashing for the Unspeakable Horrors, or odds of hitting the Allegiance on the Scryer is gonna be very high. 37 Targon cards and only 3 Shadow Walls, setting up for a very reliable Scryer. The general gameplay is to dominate the board on the first 1 to 4 turns. We have a very strong board presence on those turns, seeming how we have 9 1-drops, 9 2-drops, and 2 combo tricks as well for early turns. Usually on turns 1 to 4, we want to use all of these early cards before we start to invoking. We can have a very powerful mid game as well, but it's basically only if you curve out with the Daybreak card. If you go like Soldier into Shield Bearer, into Priestess, into leveled Leona, into Ravoon, you're gonna have a very, very powerful mid game with leveled Leona and the continued pressure with Ravoon into multiple stuns. So that's like the one exception to this deck, when we can have a very powerful mid game on turns 5 to 7. But otherwise, on turn 5 to 7, we usually struggle to maintain pressure. So then it's all about stabilization and creating big powerful finishers with invoke tools. Let's go through it card for card. So Lunar Duskbringer. It's basically a solid 1-drop. Every 1-drop we have is pretty situational. It's not all guaranteed we're dropping always a 1-drop on turn 1. Sometimes we want to make use of some certain combos or power plays, and we don't drop a 1-drop because they are better off in like later turns. But Duskbringer is, I'm always dropping Duskbringer on turn 1 if I don't have a Diana, but I will talk about the synergy between those and early turns as well. If you have a odd attack, you're always dropping Duskbringer if you don't have the Soldier. The case with both of these sort of stat Daybreak cards, we have the Soldier and the Shield Bearer, we always want to make use of the Daybreak pretty much. Unless we're facing a control deck, like a S deck. Then we just try to curve out and apply pressure as soon as possible. But if you're playing another tempo deck, like a Demacia or an Endure deck, we always want to make sure the Daybreak effect finds value. So let's say our opponent has turn 1 attack, and we have a Soldier in hand, and they miss a 1-drop, of course. Then I usually keep the Soldier in hand to have it as a blocker or an attacker when it's a 3-3. Playing this as a 1-mana 2-2, it's not powerful enough in a tempo matchup to really be played. So you want this to block things, certain like Kalista, Elises and stuff like that. It's more of a blocker than an attacker, at least for tempo matchup. In a control matchup, it's definitely an attacker. Alongside, same goes for Shield Bearer. I'll talk about the invoke cards last. They all like kind of fit together, so we'll talk about schedule later. Diana is one of the only removal, alongside Unspeakable Horde. She's like the only real removal we are main decking in the deck. Most of the removals we're playing in the deck is coming from the Celestials. But Diana is like the only early game removal thing we have. So having her versus board-based matchups such as Scouts and like midrange Demacia in general, to clear out misfortunes and early like Fioras, with the help of Pale Cascade and Unspeakable Horror, she's very valuable in those matchups. If I'm playing versus a control deck, I usually mulligan Diana away. She's not really that strong as she is versus a deck that doesn't really apply board pressure on the first couple of turns. But in a tempo matchup, she's MVP. She's one of the best things we have in the deck. So then we're always keeping her. There is a very good combo you can try and bait a couple of times if you have Duskbringer and Diana and are attacking on evens. Then I usually don't drop the Duskbringer on turn 1. Instead, I keep it, drop the Duskbringer on turn 2, give my opponent a chance to play a 2-drop that they don't expect Diana to come and be able to trade into. They just think I'm like playing off curve. I have a bricked curve. I play on turn 2, I open with a Duskbringer. My opponent thinks, okay, he has a bricked curve. I'm just gonna play my 2-drop. Then we play the Dusk Petal Dust from the spell mana, getting a Diana into a good, really good, favorable trade. I think I have a clip of it. I can show you. Oh, we got super rewarded for keeping the Duskbringer. This is the nuts play. You keep your Duskbringer for turn 2, and then you fish for your opponent to play a 2-drop, and then you can go Diana into the 2-drop if you feel like it. Yeah, look at that! Look at that! Super rewarded for keeping the Duskbringer. Yeah, look at that! That is a turn 2 blowout. And if this happens, you're so far ahead. You basically have an auto win. Lunar Shadestalker. This is like one of the key cards for any elusive matchup. If you're playing Ionia Targon elusive, or if you're playing regular Fizz TF elusive, Lunar Shadestalker is such an MVP. Otherwise, she's kind of mediocre. She's not doing a lot. She's helping like leveling up Diana in the late game, but a lot of the times I end up mulligan Shadestalker away. She's very clunky in the early game. She's a lot better like for mid game, pushing damage versus control decks that have some board pressure, and also like finishing off and trying to help up Diana. She's not really an MVP. She's one of the weaker cards in the deck, but she's really definitely an MVP versus any elusive matchups. Being able to have an elusive blocker. She can block Ezreals as well, but she's easy to remove. But 2 mana 2/3, she's really good versus S-Decks as well but I don't generally keep her. I want to have a more aggressive curve. Pale Cascade is such an MVP. It's like one of the best cards in the deck. Almost always I keep Pale Cascade in the opener hand. It's like a value card, but you keep it in the opening hand because it's so nuts. It can trade up on a lot of things. We have a very easy time triggering Nightfall in the deck, since seeing how we have 9 1-drops. So usually Pale Cascade is gonna be played on turn 3 at the earliest for a really good curve. You play like one drop on turn 1, save a 1-drop for turn 3, play it on turn 3, and like play Pale Cascade alongside it. A lot of the times, if I Pale Cascade in the opener hand, I pass on turn 2 just to have Pale Cascade mana for turn 3. Like even if I have a 2-drop, even if I have a Shield Bearer that finds a right value, I like pass on the Pale Cascade just to have it for next turn, especially if I like attack on that turn, or if I think it will find good value on defense, like sniping off a Misfortune, Unexpected. But people learn to play around this card more and more as we go. So at the start of the expansion, I found so many value trades with this card, but it's getting less and less, but it's still one of the best cards in the deck nonetheless. Having it alongside Diana, super nuts. Giving Diana a 4/3 challenger quick attack, she's gonna remove everything in the mid game, and she's gonna do it super efficiently. Solaris Shieldbearer, this more so than the Solaris Soldier, is basically always a defender versus other like aggressive or mid-range decks. Best case scenario being like Draven, Demacia if they don't have a lot of challengers, of course. But best case scenario is like you play this when your opponent Draven deck is having odd attacks on turn 3, they drop Draven, you drop this, you stop the entire attack. This have stopped so many attacks for my opponents when they have aggro decks or aggro burn decks that I don't even, it's not even fair. Playing this is like basically 2 mana, 3/2, remove your opponent's attack token. However, in the control deck like versus S and decks, you have to be proactive. You play this on turn 2 if you have attack turn. You basically only play it if you can make use of the health. Okay, versus S-decks, it's fine to just use it to curve out. Speakable Horror. This is the only direct Nexus damage thing we have in the entire deck. And people usually don't play around it too well. So I've gotten some kills with this. But most of the times, it's just there to proc barriers, proc spell shields, or help Diana in the early game to trade with 3 health units. It's just a all-around flexible tool. You will always play like the games and want to be able to ping. It can get awkward if you're in the mid game, like turn 5-6, and you have multiple Nightfall cards in the hand. Then I usually end up either playing Shadestalker or Unspeakable Horror to start off the chain without the Nightfall attack, and allowing my like Diana, Lunar Priestess and stuff to get off the Nightfall. If you have an awkward hand, and Pelk Cascade as well. The one-off Hush. We're running 3 of everything except for the one-off Hush. Hush is such a good card in the meta, and like you can cast this and then have it. You can cast this once or twice, and then if you have a Sketcher in hand, you can discard the last use when you don't even have mana for it, and get a free card from the Sketcher. But it's just a super all-around flexible card. You can be creative with this, and like if your opponent is running a Leona deck, you can unstun your units as well if you need to attack with them. But that's a very fringe scenario. Usually this is just to like remove elusives, is to remove buffs, barriers, spell shields, or like stop key champions from getting their champions abilities off. Like good case scenarios are Ezreal. If it's flipped and you have the priority, you have the attack tokens, you will have priority. You hush Ezreal when you think he's gonna pop off, and then he can't do anything. The same goes for like Karma. If she's flipping on your attack turn, you can start the round by hushing, and the Karma is just a 5/4 body. Yeah, let's go over these priestesses later. Leona, she's just an all-around good unit. Nothing really flashy about Leona or some package all around. Most of the times, I mean, you always want to play Leona when her stun finds value. You'd never play her for the body. So most of the times versus control decks, that means you're playing Leona on the offense to take away a blocker and then get a good attack. Then she's basically she's one action for 2 units. You get a unit and you take away a unit from your opponent. You will win a couple of games when you just draw nuts. You draw the shield bearer, you draw the soldier, and you curve out, have a leveled Leona by turn 4, Bravun Daylight on turn 5, and then like next attack turn, you first drop another soldier into like a Leona's champion spell, Morning Light. It's super nuts if you have Leona and the Ravun out on the field. Then it's basically an auto win if you buff up all your units, you stun all your opponent's units, you get like new Daylight cards from Ravun, and if you have a Priestess on board, you get more Celestial cards. It's super nuts if that happens, and it's super high roller, and your opponent can't play around as well. But it's not very common. And Ravun, he's all around good unit. I usually end up discarding him quite a bit with the Sketcher if I don't have another discard target in the early game and I don't have a Leona. He's very fair if you don't have Leona, but he's super unfair if you have Leona on field, being able to stun multiple times a turn. But you can play this for tempo, just for the 5/5 body. Most of the times versus aggressive decks, on turn 5, you don't really want to play Ravun, because then they can just go wide on you. They can play like a Petty Officer into a 2-drop, and all of a sudden they have 3 units wide on you, and you're gonna eat a lot of damage. But versus control decks, like Ezreal decks and stuff, you can just jam this out as a 5/5. If your opponent like thermo beams it, you're fine. You get the unit, take away a thermo beam. This is not the highest priority target to protect anyways. He's an alright unit, and with Leona and Ravun out on the field, it's getting unfair. Your opponent is gonna cry if you have those 2 on the field at the same time, and it's very common that you do. They are both very chunky units, hard to remove, so it's very common that they stick on the board for multiple turns. Okay, let's go over the Celestials then. First off, Space Sketcher. So best case scenario is you draw this alongside Lunar Duskbringer. You play Lunar Duskbringer on turn 1, then you usually like pass to have Pale Cascade mana, or you play Shield Bearer on turn 2. Then on turn 3, you start with Sketcher, discarding away the Dusk Petal Dust. You're always discarding away this if you have the option to, and most of the times it's very reliable, like having this in the hand. Then you play this on turn 3, allowing your like Diana and Shadestalker to come down alongside it, and it's really powerful. That's a very common opener. And if you go that route and passing turn 2, you will have Pale Cascade and Unspeakable Horror mana up as well for these 2 Nightfall units. And they are very powerful when they come down on turn 3, like alongside the Sketcher. Otherwise, on like turn 1 to 3, if I don't get the Lunari Duskbringer alongside the Space Sketcher, I usually mulligan away either of the Priestesses or the Ravoon on turn 1 to 3. However, if you play this like at turn 5 plus, you're usually discarding away your lowest value targets. That's mostly like 1s and 2s. Lunar Duskbringer Soldier, Shadestalker, or Shieldbearer. Depends on your hand stat as well. If you have a lot of value, you're not gonna discard away your tempo cards. However, if you don't have a lot of value in hand, you're discarding away your tempo cards to try and find late game cards. Let's get into and check the Celestials. Okay, so the 1s to 3 that we pick, we usually almost never pick Moonsilver. The only times I picked Moonsilver is if we have a really bricked curve and we play Sketcher on turn 3 and we have a Ravoon in hand. And we don't have a turn 4 play. So I want to play Ravoon on turn 4 to like save my curve. And we're in a scenario where we play against a control deck and we need to tempo out. Or we play against another like tempo deck and we're falling behind the board at the early game. Then we can pick Moonsilver. We need to play Moonsilver the previous turn on the Ravoon, and then we play the Ravoon for 4 mana, activating his Daybreak ability. But that's like the only fringe scenarios I've seen ever played Moonsilver. Serpent, this is the best card by far. If you play Sketcher on turn 1 to 3 and you see Serpent, it's almost an auto pick in every matchup, especially on like turn 1. If you can get this out on turn 1 or 2 and like start building up pressure, no matter what you face control, you face aggro, you face mid-range, you're picking this. It's finding so many picks on turn 1 to 3, like 1s and 2 drops. It's gonna farm everything. And this is a 4 damage removal alongside Pale Cascade as well. So it's super nuts. I almost always pick this if I get it turned 1 to 3 in the early game. The Silence, we're usually almost never picking. In some scenarios you're gonna get it, you're gonna pick it. Like it's an auto pick versus Endure, and it can have really good uses versus Scouts. If your opponent's like building a board and relying on Genevieve to come in and do some work, you can pick this to like silence Genevieve. And your opponent has no Scouts units, and you're basically like destroying their entire turn by silencing Genevieve. This is it's super nuts versus Endure, but it's lackluster in most scenarios. We don't pick it a lot. Charger is alright. I never pick it over Serpent, but it's pretty good for early game pressure if you're facing like an S-Deck or something. It's really good versus Demacia as well. They basically have to sink a tracker into the Charger at least. Or you're gonna trade up super hard. If they don't have any challengers, the Charger is gonna trade up super hard versus Demacia. Moonglow, I think I've only picked this one versus S-Decks, and it's alright versus S-Decks, and it's only if you draw like super bad ones. If you draw like Crescent Strike, Moonglow, and Moonsilver versus an S-Deck, I pick the Moonglow, but it's very, very fringe. Messenger, the best one to get if you play the Sketcher on turn 5 and plus most of the times, and you're running out of steam. Like I almost never pick it in the early game, unless I really need a body and I need to tempo out and I don't get a better one. But Messenger, the best one for late game value, but you don't pick it that often early game. Crescent Strike, the best spell by far. I picked this a lot. I think this is my second most picked card in the Sketcher pool, alongside the Serpent. I mean, Serpent is almost an auto pick, but the Crescent Strike is up there. I think it's my second most picked card. It's super nice having the 2 stun, basically removing 2 bodies from the combat for one crucial turn. It's very well suited alongside Leona as well. If you play like a Leona, stun 2 targets with Leona, then Crescent Strike 2 targets additionally, and your opponent has no blockers, giving you like the auto win. It's really flexible, keeping it versus like Demacia decks, Endure decks if you don't get this card. And it's just nice having, or like versus elusive decks, they try to rally on you, you play Crescent Strike. It's so flexible card. I really underrated this. It's the best spell in this pool by far for our deck. Trickster, almost never picked. It's only if you need a elusive finish for late game, but then you're trying to get more heavy elusive finishes like the 7+ elusives. But yeah, Trickster is mostly for late game scenarios, or if you need to curve out versus like an S deck, but he's not that great at doing that either. So I usually only pick it in late game scenarios, and I need the additional 3 elusive damage. So overall, if I were to rate these like from most picked to least pick, it's probably Serpent, Crescent Strike, Charger, Messenger, Equinox, Trickster, Moonglow, and lastly Moonsilver. But it of course heavily depends of the matchup. Okay, let's go to the Solari Priestess. Like both of these priestesses, you're never keeping in the mulligan, no matter what. I don't think I've... Okay, so you can't keep Solari Priestess if you have like Soldier, Shield Bearer, and Leona. Or at least one of these earlier drops and Leona. So you try to get early flip Leona and like you high roll your way into a Ravoon. Or you already have Ravoon in hand. That's the only scenario you're allowed to keep Priestess in hand. Otherwise, both Priestesses are always auto mulligan. This is auto mulligan as well. And the Scryer is always auto mulligan. These are your late game bombs. And so you don't need them early. Solari Priestess is really good though. Having her on the board, like sticking her body on the board in order to like if you get like Leona and Ravoon out on the board and play second Leona with the Morning Light, you're just generating more and more Celestials. So Solari Priestess is really good at finding, and she's also really good at finding removal. She's like your main source of finding hard removal. And hard removal is something this deck lacks, and we need to find from Celestials. Let's jump over to the 4-6 pool and see. Okay, let's start with the Traveler. Traveler is actually kind of nice. He's the best card you can pick for value, and especially if you have Scryer out on the board. He's a 3-mana 3/4 invoke. He's actually unfair if you have Scryer, 1 or 2 Scryers out on the board. So you're mostly almost never picking him unless you're running out of value or you have Scryers out on the board as well and you're looking for another card. So let's say we're in a scenario we're looking for removal and we get Traveler and some other minions. We can pick Traveler and look for removal in another invoke. So usually what I do when I try to invoke, I think about what I need, and then if I don't hit it and I hit a Traveler, I might pick a Traveler just to get another chance at getting the invoke I want. But he's really good alongside the Scryers. Written in the Stars, almost never picked. You need to some really bad invokes in order to pick Written in the Stars. I don't think I've ever picked Written in the Stars from Solari Priestess invoke. But sometimes if you're regular invoking and you get low value invokes and you need high value invokes, you might pick Written in the Stars still, but Written in the Stars, this deck is not super reliant on the champions in order to close out the games. So Written in the Stars is not that great. Like the value of this card is based on how much you emphasize on your champions in order to win the games. And we don't really need our champions to win the games that much. So this is a bad card for the deck. Meteor Shower, this is alright. It's a lot better than it looks. But mostly if we can get the Falling Comet, we're picking the Falling Comet over Meteor Shower. However, this is really nice proccing spell shields, proccing barriers, and like removal versus Demacia. Especially versus Demacia, Meteor Showers is really good. And Meteor Shower usually combos quite well with Falling Comet in order to clear off Aurelion Souls and stuff in the late game. If you already have a Falling Comet, you're picking Meteor Shower in order to ping off Aurelion Souls spell shield and like clearing another blocker in the process. So Meteor Shower is a lot better than it looks. It's I pick it quite a lot if I don't find the Comet or if I think Meteor Shower for some reason will be better. Okay, so Warrior. We're almost never picking Warrior. Warrior is like a bad Comet. It's like a Comet that can be interrupted easily by combat tricks and removal. So from the Solari Priestess pool, I'm almost never picking Warrior unless like I really need the removal and like Meteor Shower is not enough, or I don't find either Falling Comet or Meteor Shower. Then I might pick Warrior if I need a crucial removal on like a Misfortune, Estral, or a Karma or something like that. I remember I played today for 5 hours and I picked Warrior once when I needed to clear off a Karma. Falling Comet is actually nuts. I think this is most picked card alongside the Golden Sister, but I think I picked this even more. Our deck doesn't really have a lot of removal, so versus decks we need removal, this is the go-to pick. It's unconditional removal, like no questions asked. As a general rule of thumb with all the invoke cards, if you have a big board, you're picking spells. If you don't have a big board, you're picking minions. So that holds very true to this. If we see ourselves in 2 turns having a clogged board and we get to pick versus Sisters and Falling Comet, I'm almost always picking Falling Comet, even though Sister is nice in most matchups. Okay, so Sisters. This is the most picked minion for sure. Like these 6 mana invokes are these are the cards you're really looking for with the Solari Priestess. If you don't have a full board, you're picking Sister most of the times. Otherwise, you're picking Comet if you need a removal tool. And like Sister is the only card of the bunch here that actually has some reach with the elusive Sister. So if you're looking for a finisher that's not border based, you're picking the Sister. It's actually unfair if you get Sisters out alongside this 7 mana card, Cosmic Inspiration, but I'll talk about that later. Then it's 2 6/5 bodies with insane keywords for 6 mana. It's kinda unfair. Okay, let's just talk about the last invoke cards. We don't really get to play with these 7+ invoke cards that much, since we don't have a reliable way of finding them, and they are also harder to find from regular invokes. However, a lot of the games we rely on a lot of these finishers to come in and win the game for us, especially Immortal Fire and the Great Beyond being elusive units. Cosmic Inspiration. If you for some reason play invokes on turn 3 to 5, usually I try to avoid playing invokes on those early turns, like regular invokes. The one invoke I play on turn 3 sometimes is the Solari Priestess, but then we're never getting inspiration. We're getting 4 to 6 Celestials. But if you for some reason play invokes on turn 3 to 5 and you find a Cosmic Inspiration and you can proc it in like the next couple of turns, and your opponent is not playing Ionia for deny, it's an auto win. Like you can't lose if you get this off early. Most common scenarios, you play like a Sketcher turn 3, you pick the stun card, and it's very situational, so you're keeping it for the late game. Then you're playing Scryer turn 4 into a Cosmic Inspiration, and then you already have a Celestial in hand, so you can play Cosmic Inspiration on turn 5 for 6 mana, refunding 3 mana. So you play this for 3 mana and you win the game. There's no losing the game from there. So this is a super high roll card, but yeah, it's one of the best Celestial card in the pool. It's unfortunate we don't get to play with it more, but you will get some high roll games with this card for sure. Destroyer, it's really reliable. You don't usually close out the game with it that often. There are a lot of high health minions in the meta currently, making Destroyer a lot worse, but it's still a really solid one. If I get to choose from like the high finisher pool, I usually don't pick it. I pick the elusives more often because of in the meta there's not a lot of elusive blockers apparently. So like the Immortal Fire and Great Beyond usually does a better job than the Destroyer closing out games. Cosmic Ray, almost never picked. You try to deal with the small minions in another way. This is a card that is better for control decks that don't have dealing with wide boards in other ways. But the way we deal with wide boards is playing a wide board ourselves and like trading fairly. So Cosmic Ray almost never picked. It could be decent if you're playing like playing versus an Endure deck and they set up multiple Neverglade collectors. But yeah, almost never picked Cosmic Ray. From this high bunch, I usually look for finishers. Immortal Fire, really good. I picked this quite a lot. There's not a lot of like hard removal for this. The best hard removal for this is probably the Comet, and like you will have in your mind how many invokes your opponents have played and if they have a removal for Immortal Fire. But usually if they pick Comet, they are gonna remove like Leonas and earlier stuff than Immortal Fire. You play this very late, but this is a good reliable finisher if you can find it. Supernova, this is alright. I pick it quite a bit versus, especially versus like TF Swain decks. You pick this early if you find it, and then you like hold it in the hand until your opponent has developed and have like Swain and Leviathan out on the board. You play 9 mana, kill off both his like finishers, and that's a super big swing. Otherwise, like this is good if you need removal and you don't find the Comet. It's a bit clunky to use. We don't really want to hold on to the Celestials for too long in most scenarios, but if you have Celestials in hand, this is a good removal option. Great Beyond, same thing as the Immortal Fire. It's a bit safer having spell shield, so it can't get immediately wrecked by Comet. Ooh, Living Legends, the best value generator for late game. This is really unfair if you have scryers out on the board, making all of your cards cheaper. Or if you have 2 scryers, you're out to win if you play Living Legends. You play this for 8 mana, you have 5 mana to work with. If you're at 10 mana, you have 5 mana to work with before playing this. And then you can just Living Legends, get 13 mana again, have discounted your entire hand. And this is really good. I picked this like as a finisher a lot. You can find great peons in the Immortal Fire from this easily, and you usually always find at least one or two supernovas or falling comets for removal. So this is like best for late game. I pick it quite a bit. Unfortunately, you don't see it that often, so it's probably like the best out of these high cost units for late game. The Scourge, I don't think oh yeah, the only time you pick this is if you can't pick anything else and you're running out of your hand. But that almost never happens. You're never running out of steam with the Celestials. On the rare scenario that you run out of hand and you get 1 invoke and you only get Scourge as a late game card, you're picking this. Otherwise, this is useless. It's never played. But in general, this deck wants to more so play for your opponent's weaknesses than your own strength. You don't really, going into a game with this deck, you don't really have a set game plan. Sometimes you're gonna get a Sun Curve and curve out and try to win with Leona. Sometimes you will have like a general aggro curve, or like Diana trying to flip her and killing off your opponent's board for a cheap price. But most of the times you're just playing aggro to beginning and then try to play for your opponent's weaknesses. Meaning, like versus S-decks, we try to curve out and like apply pressure. Versus aggro decks, we try to stabilize the board early game and outvalue them, or play elusives. So it's very important knowing your opponent's decks and what the weaknesses are in order to pick Celestials correctly, and like knowing what will be best in which scenarios. Alright, enough talking, let's get into a game so you guys can get a feel for how the deck plays. Is that a new icon? Okay, let's see. I think this is like a 50-50 matchup. Pale Cascade is super nuts and Diana is also really good. However, if we keep it like this and don't draw like a 1-drop or enabler, we're gonna be in big trouble. I think it's worth risking though. Like, Diana is probably going down on 3. I'm not even sure I like playing Soldier here. I'll probably have to though. Shit. Now if he has Barrier Grill, I will be regretting playing the Soldier. Okay, no Barrier Grill. At least we dodged the curve. Oh, nice. Nightfall trigger. Probably getting rid of Shadestalker. Shadestalker is not that great in this matchup. This is not the matchup we're trying to burn him down. I can't do that for versus Demacia. Nice. If he plays Misfortune, I'm going Serpent into Pale Cascade. But I would assume he doesn't go for a Misfortune here. And then I'm just going Serpent into Diana. Oh, shit. Yeah, we're taking 2 units. Two units to get away from like really good Bannerman value hits. He's still a pretty good Bannerman. Maybe I should have attacked to force him to... Okay. Fine, if you're gonna do me like that. Give me something big and cool. Probably a destroyer, I'm running out of steam. Or a serpent just to try and push the board advantage I already have. What am I doing with the Pillar Cascade otherwise? No, we're doing serpent. Or charger. Charger could also be alright. Okay, let's do it. Holy shit, I'm out of the cards already though. Not now. Yes, don't mind if I do. I'm gonna lose 2 minions here for sure. This will always be active. Smurk. Smurk, smurk. Jones, jag grubbar tax. Good to have ya. Smurk, smurk, ja. Ah, actually, this is annoying. I didn't think of the turn going forward. Okay, you want that anyways. Let's see if this will be, yeah. Nice. Now we can go sister and let him trade. There's no way he wants those two to trade into my sisters. Genevieve is scary. Oh, this charger pickup didn't really work out. Should I have chosen Serpent? But I wouldn't have played Serpent as well. I don't remember what the last shows was. I think it was Sisters, right? I wouldn't mind that too much. Yeah, the Serpent wouldn't do... Maybe I could have played Serpent, I don't know. That's leveled. I always lose against Ace-Hall and this stupid deck. Stupid decks. I'm sorry you have to deal with stupid decks. But then you're not smorking enough, intro. Third queen. Holy pog. Wait a second. Is this a Genevieve setup again? Again? How do I kill that bad grill? Or is it repulsed? Oh shit, it could be repulsed super easily. Pass, I'm not passing. No way. Shit. Makes it so I don't have to worry about repulse most likely. I think he has like repulsed rally. Those are 2 cards. Then the last card is a random card. A third queen, Monka S. Oh shit, so he's still getting the repulsed. Let's not give him it. Yeah, let's just attack like this. Then this is gonna stun. I don't wanna lose Leona because it's the stun on queen for next turn. Why did you switch Star Shaping for Shade Stalker? I never had Star Shaping. Okay, here comes the repulse. Oh shit, I still lose Leona, right? Yeah, it didn't matter. Star Shaping is OP. Wait, what? What's going on? Another sister? Don't mind if I do. Oh no, I'm fifth. This guy is ahead of me. Oh, and I queued into him. We need to smoke, but I'm not good at smoking with this opening hand. Is Leona really like Swain, just better? What? Can you compare Swain with Leona? I guess you can. No, I don't think Leona is just better than Swain. Swain is good. Like, Swain TF is still one of the best decks of the entire game. All you need is Targon to win this patch. There are plenty of good other decks. One, like, the main reason I'm playing this deck is because of it's being new. Shit. Nice. We got some early game. But we're still only 1 out of 4. Pepe hands. Pepe pants. The only thing I hate from this expansion is Lulu. But Lulu is so cute. She's the cutest of the expansion. How can you hate her? Ugly on the inside? No, don't be like that. No bullying. Always angry at cute.
Daylight breaks on the back. Glorious light rains down.
Do you invoke twice with karma level? Not from minions, but with the spells, yeah. Lawyers of the Raha Katan. Targon is only maybe weak mid-late game, but that's horrible for the meta. I think Targon is in a good state. I don't think it's really super OP. Lawyers, yeah, he said lawyers for sure.
But not young Atreus was it?
Deep hands. At least we dodged a Leona of his. What is that card? How can you smork with a heal card? What is that guy, thing doing in my deck? Shit, this is gonna be rough. But if he has no answer to this, it's insane. Thing is, if it's Star Shapers, if he's going Star Shaping on it. Now let's do this first. Then I'm saving this horror. Yeah. The most likely thing he's doing is Star Shaping. Second most likely is Pale Cascade. If I go on Pickle Horror. Okay, we're fine, nice. We need life. We need lifesteal. No, we need elusive damage. Elusive is the way to go, for sure. This is scary though, really scary.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren. Behold the divine power of the sun.
Next turn will be game, we'll see. But yeah, I'll have a great next turn with the morning light. Unfortunately, I don't have another drop. It would have been super nuts if I had one more sun minion. One sun minion into Morning Light.
You trespass on sacred lands, unbeliever. You know no.
One or two drop sun minions into Morning Light. Then I think it's game, but I'm assuming he has ways to survive next turn.
The mountain knows me. I am the traveler.
No, no serpent. Shit, I don't mana. No good, no Gucci Jones. Would have had mana if I didn't play the Chase Stalker.
Strike while the planets align.
This is not great. Not great at all. Comet for sure.
We rise.
The stun didn't really do that much. I'm surprised he hushed. He's probably gonna hush this. Hush this, block it with the Traveler. Not that sick.
Believe or burn. Fall, heretic.
Why does the invoke part of the spell go off before it resolves? I don't think it goes off. But you have to choose it before it goes off. So he can still like remove the priestess, and then I don't get the thing. What will happen if they don't hush? I get the 2 stuns. I stun this and I stun the 3-2. But he still has a lot of blockers for it. I'm surprised they went for it.
Sisters.
This card is great for him though to have on the field. Not loving him having it there. If Leona can survive this turn, I think I have game. So like everything I do here is ensuring Leona's survival. He could still play Splitting Star, but I have the heal for it. Ooh, Meteor Shower is great combining with the Star Splitter, killing off Asol's.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren. Sunlight blinds.
Can you heal Leona? Yep, I can. So if he decides to go for like a Meteor Shower of his own, I just heal Leona. Now I think I pass. What is opponent splash? It's Ionia. It's splashing Korma, like the Nice and stuff. Let's get this out and see what happens first. Now let's get this out and see what happens first. He could have the spell though to obliterate all less units. But doesn't he lose then? Yeah, he loses then.
My faith protects me. Behold the sun's holy light.
No!
I am the bulwark against darkness.
That's not good for Team Jones.
The dawn has arrived.
That's insanely bad for Team Jones, him having the Leona. Yeah, now we're actually in trouble. Runeterra, I don't think I can get away with it. Like if I thought I could kill him this turn, I would have done it.
Sunlight blinds.
But I don't think I will get the kill this turn. We could potentially get there with the shield bearer.
Guiding light.
Why didn't you heal Leona last turn? That gives him a lot of flexibility. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't kill him this turn. Pepper hands. That's unfortunate. Yeah, him having a Leona turn of his own. I don't see him having another stun card though. And if he plays Azol, I think he loses. Ah, maybe not. He has a big board. A way bigger board than I'm comfortable playing against. We haven't seen a single star shaping.
This is the wrong path.
Have faith.
Wait, a karma?
Unquenchable fire.
Shit, karma into star shaping is nuts.
There is hope.
Full heal. Harsh? Probably right. However, I lose to a deny then. You can remove your stance. Yeah, if I had it last turn, that would have been lethal. I'm not sure if this is correct. Like, this way I lose it to, I lose the game to a single deny. Big hand, big board, big problem, yup. We have to do this on the stack. So we can't start shaping it. That should be his only karma though. Wait, I could have just hushed again. Oh shit, I'm stupid. It's better hushing again. Then I save the burst. Yeah, that's stupid. Let's see if he starts shaping this. Nope. Oh no! So many of these cards now. But if I hushed again, I couldn't play Guardian. It's 5 blockers. I can't kill him. How did Team Jones get there now? That's the real question. It has to be an open attack no matter what. But he survives with just blocking. Go Team Jones, you can get it! We'll see, we'll see. But it's looking really tough now. Now I have no way to clear off Azols. But I still have a big board after this swing. He probably does not. Open attack, heal Leona. Yeah, maybe.
You cannot sway me.
Exercise caution.
Oh shit. This is tough. How big of a board do I have still? Nah, it's probably Cosmic Inspiration. And then try to go wide. I have a lot to go wide units, yeah. Oh, he has deny potentially. Wouldn't he have denied? Yeah, he would have denied the 5 to save karma. I don't think he has the 9 hand. You should have run deny. If it's like similar to Shuho's list, it's running deny. It could be wrong.
Glorious light rains down.
Will I have a hard time feeling? Oh shit. It's probably Traveler to get a better one. Like, there's only so much Comet can do here. I can do double Comet if it opens Azol.
Calm mind and open heart greet the night.
Did he get it from Ravoon? Yeah, he did, okay. I think you win, yeah, maybe, we'll see.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
Oh yeah, you're right, I have Leona, I didn't think of that. Yeah, you're right. I should have, it's, double Comet is probably bad then. Yeah, he can't, there's no way he can play Azol. Let's just drop this.
The moon approaches her zenith. May her silver light.
I will have a hard time fitting in everything next turn. So now we're always doing Cosmic Inspiration. We have mana to Comet as well if you feel like it. You can't drop Azol. Drain 2 from enemy Nexus. Yeah, or the drain 1 that I have in the deck. Jones is Smork? Yeah, we Smork. That's my favorite thing.
Behold the sun.
Nice, no Azol. Let's just open this then. Opens this allows me to only play a Nightfall or a Solar Priestess. Could also play a Meteor if I feel like it. No, go for elusive. What? I have no elusive. If then you don't get mana back, yeah, true. But like I have 5 units already out on board. Let's just go this. Nice. 4 or 5 elusive already. And we have the sisters coming in. Yo, is this deck worth crafting tier 1? Yeah, this and it's a cheap deck as well. I think it's really strong. Cool.
Last light.
Glorious light rains down.
This is such a bad comment. I still have to go for it in case he has like the second Leona. And then we open like Golden Sisters. And he needs to deal with both elusives. Wait, second Leona is still bad for me. But the stunning this, so I have long blocker. I don't care about my health really. 6 mana, sisters? Oh no! That's life for him.
Burn away doubt.
Killing our wound better? Now then he can stun next turn. Shit, life is... health is shit.
I know your true heart.
Not attacking with Golden Sisters. He's confident that my units will die. No, that he won't die. You have sisters too? True.
We will not suffer unbelievers.
Single copy of Atrocity? My sisters are a lot stronger than his.
Daylight star.
How you doing versus Azol control? It's one of the harder matchups. It's basically the same deck, but it's a bit slower. So if you can, like, the pressure is on you to kill them. And if you can't do that, you're in trouble. Oh shit. This has to mean Ash, right? I mean, there's no way I play another card. Then he can get comets. So we start with this. We're probably attacking everything still.
Power is mine.
If he has Hush, he's forced to Hush and trade the sister with like the Shade Stalker. I just wanna wither away his board to the state where I have a board and he doesn't. 9 1-drops isn't too much? Nope. Like, look at this. I'm at turn like 15 and I still are so far away from running out of the steam.
Back heretic. Believe or burn.
No, that's my elusive units.
Insolence.
Fall, heretic. Back heretic. Believe or burn. No further.
We're getting his board, everything but the sister.
Others. Have faith. Our bonds.
Shit, maybe I should have played priest. Nah, I didn't have space. I have 3 units. I need to go to 6 units next turn. Can the charger really be that great? Or warrior to drag away the sister? Yeah, let's do that.
Sunlight blinds while moonlight reveals.
Like, how much can he have really? Ooh, yes, that's a kill on Azol.
Blinding daylight.
Charger is 6-3 though? Yeah, no, that's kinda good.
Is our way.
Falling star.
I have a feeling this pass is right. Nope, no Azol.
It was my heart that led me here.
Now we go for the kill. Okay, so we're dropping Charger. We're dropping Charger for 4 mana. So we have 2 mana left. Oh, Crescent Strike is so good! Yeah, Crescent Strike is way too good to not take. And then we develop next turn. Yeah. 3 man? What the heck is a 3 man?
The light of my star warms the heavens.
Nice.
A young Rakora once gazed upon these stars.
Chosen of the sun.
A shining warrior.
Chosen of the Sun.
The sun's splendor revealed.
Come on! Give victory for Jonesman. Ah, so Snake is 3 man. Nani? The code is exclamation mark deck. Comet. I see you're into bamboozling as well. No blockers for you! To shine like the sun, you must burn like it. Yeah, now it should begin. I still have the Crescent Strike. Oh wait. Oh wait a second. For some reason I thought I had a Ravoon. Okay, no date, no. You didn't see it. You didn't see what happened here. Okay, I didn't. Oh yeah. Oh, you didn't see that. That wasn't Team Jones that played. You didn't see that, guys. Yeah, I should have always played this first. Done. Yes, we still got there. Perfectly executed last turn. Scammed everyone. Yeah, they scammed everyone, especially Team Jones.